Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another round of Rush Racing League. This time it is Div5's turn to take on the very chaotic and very difficult streets of Baku here in Azerbaijan. We are getting ready for round 13 here in Div5, and a week that has so far brought every form of chaos that we could have possibly seen here tonight. And Div5 is ready to experience that all here tonight. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and alongside me for tonight is the one, the only. You've seen him in the reserve program, making their divisional debut tonight. It is Phoenix. How you doing tonight, mate?
I am doing really well, and I'm excited to see what Div 5 brings. Because over the divisions, in reserve program, we had, I think, 11 DNFs. We had Div 4 pull two safety cars. I think it was Div 2 had a red flag and a safety car. So, really, anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, you've said that perfectly, Phoenix. Anything can happen here tonight. It's going to be a tricky night. The streets of Baku do not respect anybody. They will chew you up and spit you out if you take them incorrectly, and it is a very difficult track. Speaking of the track, we're going to go ahead and take you straight to the track as we go ahead and get rolling here with qualifying as the drivers go ahead and get ready to go. We do have 16 drivers tonight with more expected to jump in during quali, so we're going to go ahead and just do a quick run through the grid, and it is going to be Crowjag, Uncle Morty, Kungabus, The Risen, Roman One Kenobi, Bobby, Milano, Noah Huni, Axed, Sorokin, Kaus, current championship leader of TMT Legend, Woofa, Dwight, Paul and Hell, and Dilby rounding out our 16 car field tonight. So, Phoenix, any bold predictions tonight as we get quali underway?
Well, I want to say there will be a Charles Leclerc moment because I think it's a 4 race streak. We've had someone absolutely bin it in the castle section and bin it into corner 8, which Charles Leclerc did in, I can't remember what year the Grand Prix was, but it was in Quali 2. He binned it.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. And yeah, actually, I remember in Div 1 we actually put up that, or what is the reserve program? It was one of those two where we actually put up a prediction.
It was
A reserve, I
it was
think.
Div 1.
Oh, Div 1? Alright. Yeah,
I,
so,
it was Div 1.
yeah, we were saying it was a poll, like if somebody was going to do a Charlotte Leclerc moment, and they actually did. So, yeah, I mean, there's only two more rounds left of this week before we go ahead and kind of look at the reserve program. We got Div 5 here tonight. Tomorrow we got Div 3. And then the reserve program. Milano, I believe, is serving a quali ban.
Has
So that's the
mm,
reason why the Visa Cash
I
App Racing Bull has retired. So it'll be interesting. My prediction here is that this is going to be the first race that we are not going to see a VSC or safety car of any sort. This is going to be the one and probably the only lights to check a flag race with no intervention. Is that going to be a wrong prediction? Almost definitely, but that's my bold prediction.
and just checking, Milano doesn't have a quali ban, according to what I can see. And I thought I saw Milano bin it because we did have a yellow flag with the same color that the racing bulls are shown on the map. So Milano could have binned it into a wall.
Okay, so yeah, actually, they might have just been it here in quali. That could have been something we very well missed. So, good eye there, Phoenix. That might actually we could probably check the race director for that. And do you have R.J. Gibson on EA because they need a invite to the lobby?
Yeah.
All right, so just gonna go ahead and take us. I'm gonna take us through some of the laps while you get that situated. TMT Legend he does invalidate Sorokin setting the fastest lap here so far of a 140.355, half a second ahead of Axt. Sorokin sets a time ahead of Axt. Krojag. Oh, Krojag I think has also bend it. I think yeah, I was about to go on board with Krojag, but Krojag he bend it in sector 2. So I think my prediction of this being a green flag race all the way through, I think that's going to be a very faulty prediction. I think that prediction isn't actually even going to last throughout quali. The Williams pair looking really strong here tonight as they currently top the times by about 0.3 of a second. So Kaus and Sorokin, they've been really strong in recent times. The Williams pair looking really, really good. Uncle Morty, the driver we are currently on board with, he's been also looking really strong here in recent weeks. He's going to go ahead and just burn the ERS down to the line. And he's going to go ahead and jump up into P6. So about 7 drivers have set laps at the moment. 2 more are currently on out laps. Some of them are actually on flyers. We'll take a look in at championship leader of oh no, that's actually a different side, but it's Bobby. TMT Legend is going to be one. We do have Connor now in the session, so one of Mercedes' silver arrows has been broken. We'll see if the other arrow can fly true and fly into those higher echelons of qualifier here, Phoenix.
Yeah. I was trying to get a driver in, but they managed to get an invite, so I wasn't paying all too much attention. Currently, the gap between both of the Williams at the top isn't very much. It's like maybe 0.004 of a second. I could have done the maths also completely wrong.
It's about 42 hundredths of a second. Yeah. 42 hundredths of a second is currently the gap to leader at the moment, but it is the actually 3 Red Bull affiliated cars just behind. You got the 2 mainline Red Bulls of Dilby and Axt, and then you have the Visa Cash Out Racing Bulls of the Risen up into P5. So very strong start for all of the Red Bull affiliated. In the meantime, we did have 2 drivers jump into session. RJ Gibson for Ferrari is here as well now. So there is a Ferrari on the grid. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen a Ferrari on the grid here in Rush. At least all the races I commentated. So we'll see how this one goes. Dwight coming to the line now, and he jumps up into P4, but still nobody's really been able to touch the Williams here tonight here, Phoenix.
No, the Williams have been their bankers, I think, were very quick. I wonder if they'll stay at the top or if like a McLaren or a Red Bull, Alpine, maybe even the Risen can improve and try and catch up. That 0.3 of a second, I think, is roughly the gap between P2 and P3 at the moment.
Yeah, so, I mean, if anyone is going to do it, I think TMT Legend, currently the championship leader, he's had a bit of a struggle here. He's been struggling with invalidations all throughout the night in this quali session. So, I mean, TMT Legend, we know he's got the pace. And, I mean, he was so strong in the opening stages of the championship here. But he hasn't won a race since Las Vegas. So... Oh boy. So just stick around. We do have a new lobby host. I don't know if this will result in the session being red flags. We'll wait for confirmation from the head steward about that, because I'm not too sure about the state of play when it comes to that. But just stick around. We'll go ahead and give you guys the information as it comes through. We're going to jump on board now with Kung Bus. Never mind, we will not because he isn't validated. Roll me one Kenobi. He's going to go ahead and roll it over the line. We'll see what position he gets. Can he use those Jedi mind tricks to get the pull? Not quite. P11 at the moment. 1.827 seconds away from the provisional pull time set by Kaos in the early stages. So TMT is now going to go to begin a flying lap. Gibson, though, actually jumps up. Whoa, where did that time come from? The prancing horse jumps all the way up to P1 by almost 0.6 of a second. A 1:39.660. That's a rapid time there, Phoenix.
Yeah, jumped up and destroyed the Williams P1 and P2 party. Now, will anyone get close to IJ Gibson? I don't know, because I wasn't expecting too many people to get close to the Williams, let alone jump it by that much of a gap.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the track is going to get more rubbered in as the qualifying session just kind of goes through. But with all of that being said, it's gonna be really quick towards the last couple of minutes as we get closer to that rush hour that I like to call it. I mean, fits perfectly on a street circuit, especially. But yeah, we got rush hour coming up here very very soon. The final moments of qualifying, and that's when the track is gonna be it's gonna have the most grip. It's when it's gonna be the most rubbered in, and that's where that line really gets super super grippy. So we'll see some really quick qualifying times at that stage. Team G Legend, though, who has struggled to get a lap down all night, is going to go ahead and make it to the line, and he's going to just fire on all cylinders, burning a lot of battery, and that is up to P3. So he gets close. Sorokin actually gets really close as well, just 12 hundredths of a second away. So very good stuff there from the Williams and the Kick Sauber. And things are going to look really, really good up here at the front. Now jumping down to the Mercedes of Connor, who's going to go ahead and continue on. We'll see how the lobby goes. There may be a restart in between sessions, maybe. I actually just don't know. We'll see. If there's a bunch of disconnects during the actual race, then it'll probably be a red flag, but that is a very good question. So, now here's the question I'm going to pose to you, Phoenix. Do you think anyone is going to get close to our top three here tonight?
Oh, I'm not sure. I said that earlier, and the drivers have proved me wrong. So we could see a few more drivers go into that 39 bracket. Whether they will get close to RJ Gibson, I mean, they could, they couldn't. I have been wrong already a few times tonight.
Well, I was going to say, if anyone can do it, it's probably the Williams or Kaos, and sure enough, he's only 2,800 behind. So, like, our top three are separated by less than a tenth of a second. And this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Azerbaijan Grand Prix that we have here. And I say if, because, I mean, we know what this track has brought this week. It has been chaos, safety cars, wheels being separated from their carts, or their cars. Wow, jeez. You can tell we're going to go-kart track. But, yeah, it's going to be fun. Turn one, your favorite corner, Phoenix, is going to be a bit of a tricky situation on lap one. So we're going to get closer to the closing stages of qualifying. And Kung Bus currently on a lap at the moment. He's making his way through the few opening corners. And Noah needs an invite. And then after the fact, I'll try to find actually a onboard lap for you to take away with. Up there he is. He's back, I think. Question mark. Yep. All right.
I sent him an invite.
All right. So I'm gonna go on board with Woofa, and then when Woofa starts his lap, I'll let you take it away, Phoenix. But that'll be a while. They're currently in Sector 2. Kung Bus making his way through, coming through that sector two. Actually, not too far behind is Wolfa, the Aston Martin, who is currently 1.5 seconds off of the provisional pole time set by RJ Gibson. As he's going to go, and Kung Bus is going to make his way through, just burning the overtake. Feel like it's a bit early to start burning that overtake, but here he goes. The DRS is open now. Just going to just start rocketing down that straight. What time is he going to get? He doesn't really improve. All right, Phoenix, over to you for Wufa as he's on the final straight.
Yeah. Coming down into corner one, not burning any of that ERS yet. I'm not quite sure if that was on my end, but it looked like he did glitch around the first corner a bit nicely into corner two. Now down the straight with DRS, but isn't burning any of his battery from what I can see, which is a bit interesting. It's a straight, so normally you'd want to use some of that battery. Coming into corner three, keeping it nicely.
I
Through
think
that
actually.
corner. Now coming up to the nice, oddly, is he on a lap?
I think he
I
was,
am
but
not quite sure,
I
but
think
he goes through the chicane.
he. Sorry to cut you off. I think he tapped the wall and then just decided to kind of take it as a bit of another outlap. So I think yeah, because he was pretty much in fifth gear for a good chunk of that. I'll get you on a different on-more lap. I still want to get you an on-more lap, but I'll find another one and then let you go from there. So, 2 minutes ago, Rush Hour is going to go ahead and get ready to roll. We do have Noah, who is getting ready to get on a lap, I believe. So, this time, for realsies, I will let you take it away with Noah when he gets started with his lap.
Noah. And also, I do have information that Milano did crash into a wall. So that is very unfortunate from the V carb.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the two drivers who've been in quality. The other one being Krojag, who's had a bit of a tricky time here in recent weeks. But we're going to see how Noah does, the only driver still in the session who has yet to sell lap time. And for realsies this time, Phoenix, over to you for the flying lap with the Alpine.
Okay, burning a little bit of that ERS off and on to get a little bit more speed down, going through the first corner nicely, doesn't hit the wall by going too wide. Into the second corner, doesn't cut it. Now burning a bit of that ERS down that's straight with the DRS to get extra speed, but not using too much of it. Now coming into corner three, nicely runs it, I think, slightly wide, but keeps it within the walls. A nice corner four. Now coming into the chicane, keeps it nicely, keeps it out of the wall on the exit. Now burning a little bit of that ERS and does have a purple first sector. Doesn't cut it too muchly there. Now heading up into the castle section, keeps it off all the walls, has a nice exit and burning a bit of that ERS down through the very slopey next few corners that you can take at full throttle. Keeping it almost hits the wall coming down into corner 16. Ooh, nice 16, and we'll now start burning that ERS as go down the very long main straight, burning all of that ERS down to the line, and he will gotta wait for him to cross the line. We'll go P8 with a 140.52.
A very good lap there from the Alpine. The two Alpines are really close together, but I'm going to be keeping my eye on the Williams. Cows is going to make his way across the line. The two Williams have been really strong in qualifying here this season. And Cows is going to be making his way to the line. I see a Mercedes with that looked like it didn't have a front wing attached. So Cows into provisional pole. But TMT Legend right behind just says, thank you very much. He's pretty much just going to kick him straight to that pole position spot. And he will take it. We'll see about Sorokin. Can Sorokin take pole? He will improve his time and his position, but just not quite enough to get that pole position. It is a Sauber on pole. Welcome back, TMT Legend. And he has done everything that he needed to do to kind of reignite this championship level fire that we have seen from TMT Legend all throughout the season here in Div5. TMT Legend on pole here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But we know getting pole is one thing. Keeping it is going to be another. So as we go ahead and take a look at our qualifying results, it is going to be TMT Legend ahead of Sorokin and Kaus. Top three separated by less than a tenth of a second. Then we go to RJ Gibson, who is looking very strong in the early stages. Then it is Axt, Dwight, Dilby, Uncle Morty, Noah Huney, and Paul and Hal rounding out our top 10. And then it is the Risen, Woofa, Connor, Bobby, Romy 1 Kenobi, Kung Bus, and then the two drivers who crashed out in the qualifying session of Krojag and Milano. That is our 18 car grid here on the evening. And just looking at the state of play in the championship, right now our top three. TMT Legend leads with 222 points. Uncle Morty with 169. So about a 53-point swing in between them. But only 11 points behind Uncle Morty is Kaus. So the Drivers' Championship is a bit of a far away goal, potentially, as of right now. But then again, every part of this championship, it's always up for grabs up until that final round. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for the race start here. And this is going to be a fun one. I think this is going to be a tricky turn one. I'm already seeing bets on a red flag.
Well, we've actually seen quite a few of the divs survive corner 1. It's corner 2 and corner 3 where they tend to bin it. Because it's tight corners, everyone is bunched up together or more bunched up than the first corner. It's 1, 2, 3, 5 red lights. Out and away we go here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with a bit of shuffling with TMT Legend getting a good start.
Ooh.
With everyone seeming to make it through the first corner. And I spoke too soon. There are some end plates or something gone flying as they all head into the second corner. But they've made the first few corners with very minor damage. Will they make it through corner 3 entirely? Oh, another end plate went flying, but so far they've survived Sector 1 without any issues.
Yeah, so far indeed, and now they've actually... And yeah, I mean, there's a few end plates, a few drivers going a bit wide. Actually, Bobby, I think, had a really bad start here at the get-go. Oh, somebody went into the runoff there. That is Milano, adding to his already tricky day here in Div 5. And he's already had a rough one. He crashed out in a very early stage of qualifying, so early that I actually thought he had a quali ban. But it's been a rough time for him here. Kaus is pretty much now on TMT Legends, diffused like white on rice. So we're going to see how these guys are going to continue to battle out. Paul now and the Risen a bit further back, swapping positions. Here are the tires everybody has opted to start with. A pretty even split actually throughout the field of medium and hard runners. So very good even split between them. Now, thinking about the pit strategy here, it's always tricky to predict because this is such a VSC / safety car. It's a magnet for safety cars and such, as TMT actually does get passed up by Kaus, axed into the pits now. I think he's got some wing damage that he is going to have to go ahead and fix. So he'll just go to repair that. Kung Bus as well. And the Risen Bobby as well. So 4 drivers have to come into the pits for some wing repair. 10-second penalty though for the V cover speeding in the pit lane. That is not good. Another driver who's had a really rough start here tonight is RJ Gibson. He's down several positions from where he started. Started P3, he's now down to the P7. He is missing an end plate though. But so far, aside from a few knocked off end plates in there, oh, a little punch in there between Gibson and Connor. Oh, and he's binned it!
No.
Well,
Where did he bin it? In the chicane. In the chicane. And that is a... Oh, I think that's a safety car.
Yep.
They pulled a safety... I spoke too soon again. My bad.
We spoke too soon. Because I said that this was going to be a green and checkered race. Like no safety car or no VSC.
Oh,
well, boy, was I wrong on that. We didn't make it to lap 3.
Yeah. No, they pull a safety car. A few of the divs have pulled a virtual safety car and then later on pulled a safety car. But this far in, we haven't had a safety car being pulled on lap 2 of a race. So that will give the chance for perhaps the Risen and maybe the last few like Axel, Chungbus and Bobby who are lagging behind, they might have a chance to catch up depending on how long that safety car does stay out.
It'll stay, I think it will stay at least long enough for these guys to kind of catch up, so it'll probably go around for a couple of laps. We will probably get back racing, probably going to say about lap 5 or 6. But that's a weird corner to DNF on. Cause, I mean, like most times, if you have a DNF on that corner, it's either you got punted or you had like some kind of mechanical failure. That's the only 2 things I can think of. It could have been a wheel issue, could have been a pedal issue. I have seen championships decided at this track because of a wheel issue, so that might be it. Wheel got unplugged. That might be it. At least that's what I'm seeing from the Twitch chat here. But kind of like I was just saying earlier, Phoenix. Strategy is it's a very tough one here because a 2-stop is a pretty solid plan to go with here, but when you have a safety car, sometimes you just gotta take the chance to fall straight into your lap.
Yeah, and with the risks, with the high chance of safety cars and virtual safety cars here, you can have a strategy in place, but there might be a safety car or a virtual safety car that gets you a very cheap pit stop, maybe a lap or 2 before you wanted it. But a cheap pit stop is a cheap pit stop in the end.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's all about the margins here in Formula One and any motorsport for that matter. Phoenix, I know you also commentate for some ACC championships as well, so I know that even outside of Formula One, there is a lot of pit strategy and such that comes into different forms of racing. But whether it's single seaters, whether it's GTs, whether it's IndyCars, which I said I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm sorry, it's gonna come up in conversation.
No.
Phoenix didn't know what IndyCar was until a few moments before we went live. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter what.
I don't fully understand what IndyCar is.
But whether it's karting, whether it's F1, whether it is rally, it doesn't matter what form of racing it is. Strategy is such a key factor, and racing is all about the margins. And with that cheaper pit stop like you were talking about, those margins can really make or break your Grand Prix.
Yeah. It's all about strategy, and some people just pitted for new wings, serve some penalties, and then a safety car happens. So timing can also be really unfortunate. There's been quite a few cases where someone's pitted for a front wing and then there's a safety car or something like that. pitted for a new set of tyres, and half a lap later there's a safety car. So there's a lot of what if I didn't pit now and pitted later, especially with this track, with it being very easy to bin it into several corners.
Yeah, and I mean it's always, I mean it's, and there's no like cookie cutter answer for this either. There's no one size fits all when it comes to racing. It's very situational because sometimes pitting and then a safety car comes out can kind of work to your benefit. Just once again, just timing. You said it perfectly, Phoenix. Timing is such a key thing. Because if you pitted in for a fresh set of softs, or fresh set of any tires, let's just say that, it doesn't have to be any specific compound. But then, as soon as you come out, there's a safety car, then there's a good chance that if everybody else pits ahead of you, you could be pretty much put right to the front of the queue on fresh tires. So you could be in a pretty good spot. You don't really burn up a lot of tires under safety car though too, which is a nice thing. You burn up I think about half the amount of tire wear that you would under regular green flag conditions. I think I heard that statistic from someone, I forget who, so take it with a grain of salt. But safety car will be in this lap. We will. Go ahead.
And everyone has actually caught up to each other as well. So the back, like 4 or 5 people have had a chance to catch up.
All right, so Kaus will take us to green, and he's going to lead us to the line. You can't overtake until the timing line. And we are back racing here in Azerbaijan. And, oh, we're already seeing some really punchy moves. Is it going to be 2 for the price of 1? I saw this a bit further back. And I think that was a completed move. I think it was from the McLaren of Roll Me 1 Kenobi trying to make some good positions here. Let's take a look at some positions gained and lost here on the day. So, Krojag, despite having a tough time in qualifying, he has actually made up 9 positions on the day. He's up in a P8. He crashed in the very early, or about middle stages of qualifying. And we're going to see how the rest of this one plays out. The driver who's lost the most positions, aside from Gibson, is going to be Axed. Currently down 7 positions here on the night. Cow's got a massive restart here. He is almost a second away from TMT Legend. He's actually almost broken out of DRS. So he's been doing some really good work here. The Williams pair has been such a strong force here in Div 5. So I'm going to be curious to see if they can keep up the strong form. They are hunting down Alpine in the Constructors' Championship here. About 48 points in between them after Imola. But with the strong form of Williams in recent weeks, I wouldn't be too surprised if that gap practically gets halved here tonight, with Uncle Morty down to P6 and Noah down to P11, with a double podium currently on the cards for this team. Speaking of Noah, a bit further back, he is getting really close to Axed. Those two are going to trade positions around like Pokemon cards. But we're going to see the drag race here down into turn 1. TMZ Legend now setting the fastest lap. Definitely was briefly held by Kaus. And back into turn 1 we go. There's a McLaren in the pits though. It is Roll Me 1 Kenobi in the pits. So I think that might be a wing change for the Papaya car. And it certainly is. Jumping onto another set of hards with a new front wing to match.
Yeah. There are a few positions being traded, like Uncle Morty and Connor just jumped up from, I think, P6, 7 into P6. And they're sort of settling down for now, but anything could happen very quickly.
I was just gonna say the key factor in that one, Phoenix, is for now is the operating one, but I mean we saw that. I mean we were saying that the race was. I mean I still remember back in the wee old age of a couple of minutes ago before the race started, where I said it was gonna be a clean race from lights to green flag with no safety cars, and then lap 2 happened. But yeah, things. The only predictable thing about motorsports is that it is unpredictable by nature. That is the only thing. Something that you cannot predict will happen, and it sounds like a paradox, but that is kind of the truth through motorsports. And anyone who's ever raced or commentated will know that TMT is going to get a really good run here up on the couch. He's going to try to fire it up the inside, and the Sauber retakes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but Couch runs it very wide, gets it close to the wall there. Axt goes ahead and jumps into that fastest lap spot. But while these three have been battling here, there has been a certain Red Bull that has been kind of chasing him down. Dilby has been having some really. He's just kind of been like a dark horse here in this race. He's because I mean a lot of stuff was just seeing how the top three went along, and the winner
Oh,
of the Imola feature and
Jack has been to. We have another safety car on lap 7, so you definitely spoke too soon.
and that was a
We're
driver who
not
actually
having a clean race at all.
yeah remind me to never make predictions around Baku ever again.
I may have caught that. I saw something go flying, I clicked away, and then suddenly there was a DNF. So I might have caught it, I may have not. But that may now give a chance for Roll Miwang Kenobi to catch up to the rest of the field again. And I wonder if we'll see anyone pit under this safety car. So we are a couple of more laps into the race as well.
Yeah, actually, I think we need to put this one on chat because as soon as chat was talking about Krojag, they crashed, and the same thing about RJ Gibson, they crashed. So I think chat is to blame for this one. I think we're gonna take zero accountability for any commentators' curses. They're now chat curses. So that's that's all I'm gonna say. It was chat. It was not
So we
us.
have
I'm kidding. I love you guys in chat. But yeah, Phoenix, you called it. There's a lot of people jumping into pits now. TMT, Cows. Actually, the Williams are going to double stack.
Ooh. But it seems to be all those medium tyre runners pitting for those new set of hards and switching to those set of hards, and the drivers who started on hards seem to be staying out. I think that's exactly what happened. All the medium runners have gone in for a set of hard tyres. The medium tyres might slowly be starting to fall off.
Yeah, that would check out honestly. Typically, um, it's this race is hardly ever a one stop. I mean, even when it is even if it is like the rare occasion we do get a full clean race, which has definitely not been this week. I think we've had a VSC and safety car, or safety car, in every single round this week. But with that being said, even in the event that a Azerbaijan Grand Prix goes full green, it's still usually a two-stop. Um, Speaking of tires, now that everybody's made some pit stops, let's go ahead and take a look at them. Everybody is on our white-walled hard tires, some for more laps than others. So pretty much everybody that pitted in, like you said, Phoenix, those medium runners did jump straight onto the hard tires as we go to get ready behind the safety car. So one Mercedes has crashed out, the other one is now currently in the lead, but granted on 7-lap old hard tires. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting restart here. We are not gonna go just yet. I think we got another lap around, so we'll probably get back about lap number 10. I think is when we go ahead and jump back into it. So it could be a very interesting one strategy-wise, because I mean, I know you've at least been in the room with the engineers. What would you say is going through their mind right now when there is when there's been multiple safety cars before we even reach the first third of the race?
I don't know. I'm still, of course, very new to this whole engineering business. But for example, I could tell, like, oh, it's lap 7, lap 8. I can't quite remember when the safety car was. Those mediums are going to start die. Why not pit now for a new set of hards? And that's what every single medium runner did. Because it's far enough into the race, you go, oh, well, I'll just pit for hards under the safety car because it would be a very cheap pit stop for them.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a very good point there, and I mean, you might as well, because I mean, I know I've told the story on a couple occasions, but I remember telling my teacher in third grade that math was not at all a factor in racing. That racing was just all about driving cargo fast. But um, with that being said,
Much more than that.
22-year-old me now knows that that is very false information. It's almost 50% math while driving. So, because you got to think about, okay, how much time am I going to lose in the pit stop? Where is that going to put me relative to the rest of the field? Because the last thing you want to do is pit in really slow traffic. I mean, that's definitely more of a case in endurance racing when you have like the multi-class system. Like we recently had the 6 hours of Imola. And as I will say, I'm glad Genesis at least beat somebody in that 6 hour endurance race. But with that being said, yeah, I mean, if you pit out in traffic, it's going to be a bit of a doozy. Safety car is going to be in this lap. We get back going on lap number 10 out of 26. And Phoenix, I'm going to pass this restart over to you.
Okay, as we now have Connor, who will take away this lap, as they're all trying to warm up those tyres again, coming down to the main straight. Just when will Connor go for it? Because I believe it's up to the leader to when they start, and they can't overtake until they reach the line. And we are now keeping it nice and slow. We are now back racing as Connor gets nicely around the first corner. Everyone seems to have made it. So there was a very brief yellow there. Making it all through turn 2 nicely. So they've had a clean start, as we have seen for the start of the race and the last safety car restart. Some cars getting very close and very punchy for positions all throughout the field. Everyone's going through nicely at the moment. For now is the key word, because as we've seen multiple times, we can have normal racing and then suddenly, someone has sent it into a wall.
Well,
Everyone's keeping it very... Yes.
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but you almost spoke that on into existence, framed perfectly as Axe sent a delicious dive bomb on the Connor, almost punting him straight into one of the walls. I think that was the same one that we saw RJ crash into a bit earlier. So that was you almost literally spoke that move into existence. TMT legend though, but here's the thing, and actually chat predicted that the top four were going to get pretty much just swallowed up by these championship and former race leaders on newer tires, but no, not a single one of them has lost position here. So the top four, they've really just kind of held their own here, as we do see one of the Williams trying to get past the white. That is going to be Kaus trying to go ahead and use any kind of real estate to make a move. It is a very wide start-finish line here. Team T Legendo goes in, but Milano gets 2 for the price of 1. He will lose one of them, though. Oh, no, I can see this going wrong, but he loses both of those positions back. But Milano having a pretty good recovery drive here. He started way at the back, and he's up into P8. So as it sits right now, we are seeing some really, really good moves. Sorokin going to fire it up the inside of turn number 3. He gets one done on to Dwight. as Axe has actually run away with this one pretty handily. TNT Legend now back up into the top three, but he's really been the only one of the like top front runners that has really made any ground here since the restart. Even then, TMT is out of DRS range of both Connor and Axed. I think that's an end play I just witnessed fly off there as well. A caution. Oh, and it's an Aston in the wall.
Binned it. It went into the wall. Not a VSC, but just went a bit far into the wall, and hasn't damaged his front wing at all from what I can see. Still got both end plates on. So he may have come very close to hitting the wall, or may have braked just in time as Uncle Morty picks up a 3-second time penalty. And time penalties are interesting to get because there's only a very few corners where you can like cut corners and get track invalidation warnings wrap up. As TMT Legend does overtake Connor to get back into that P2 position.
Yeah, that's a very good overtake there from TMT. I mean, he's got the fresh tires. He had the slipstream, and he just pretty much just sent it on in. Not much of a challenge. Oh! Sorokin falling down the order. I think he got kind of grinded into the wall there a little bit. I believe that might have been by Dwight, maybe, but whew, that is rough to see. Sorokin having a pretty strong race up until that point, but I feel like there's going to be a good amount of incident reports coming in from this race in particular. Probably tomorrow night Div3 as well. I mean, we need to set up like a tip jar for all the stewards. But Dilby gets a move done into position, and so far TMT has actually made up some very good progress here since the restart, being the only one really out of that front three before the safety car to really do so.
Yeah, as we've sort of got maybe 3 groups sort of now split out. You've got the front 2, then 3 and 4, then the rest sort of all in a train and all within overtaking distance of each other if any one of them makes a single mistake or taps the wall. As the Risen does tap the wall, I think that was corner 15. He may have tapped the wall slightly, but does keep both of his end plates on.
TMT Legend
So
now.
Every time.
I swear we share brain cells on occasion there, Phoenix. It's like we both think of very similar things to say, and then we just say them at the same time. It's like we're mirroring each other pretty much word for word. But TMT does go ahead and take the lead of the Grand Prix. He is on the freshest tires, and honestly, he's probably, and I believe just looking in chat, he is, I heard that. I heard something smack into a wall. I think that might have been Axed losing an end plate, maybe? Sounds like I heard somebody crash into something.
Yeah, and I just saw a car smash into another car slightly. A little bit of contact, but all the end plates are still on their respective cars. And what I was going to say earlier is they seem to have settled down for now, but every time I've said that so far, there's been a safety car a lap or 2 later. So hopefully there's not going to be another safety car, but it's also Baku and the walls exist, and it's very easy to bin it, as we've already seen, with binning it in very interesting corners.
Yeah, so we'll see how the rest of this one goes, and it should be a really interesting run. Here, I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to go ahead and call a commentator on board, and I'm going to go ahead and run through Connor as he goes through his lap. And so he's going to go ahead and chase down Dwight here, because I feel like we can see a really good run here. He's going to go to get past Dwight. He's going to jump up into the top 4 here. And now he's going to go ahead and just make his way through as he's going to try to chase down that podium. But he does have about a 3.7 second gap he needs to try to close in if he wants to catch up to Kaus. And Kaus, who is just up the road looking to make a position up on to Axt, who is on a older set of tires, as we kind of see the difference. Connor, though, is actually on older tires himself, so he's just got such good straight line speed. And he's going to go ahead and continue on. And we'll see just how much ground he can make up here on this lap. He really needs to pull away from Dwight, because otherwise Dwight is pretty much just going to be on him like white on rice. So Connor is going to go ahead and just continue. But he does have Dwight looking really punchy just right behind him. Just following him through. And now we're going to just jump back to Dwight as they come through Castle. Now, Castle is probably the one spot on the track where it is almost physically impossible to go too wide there. Jumping back on board with Connor. I mean, he's got rear mirrors full of papaya orange and a Red Bull. Dilby is he's been like Jaws here tonight. Just kind of waiting in the wings for somebody to make a mistake, and then he'll be able to just catch him. Connor's not made any time on Kaus here. Kaus is going to go to try to just catch up to the front of Axe. And he's going to go and just make that move. Go, and he's just going to send it straight on through. And that is going to be Kaus up into P2. There is a bit of a gap that he'll need to try to make up here, as we are well within the second half of the race. Connor now just falling down the order potential, but he's going to try to stick it around the outside. That's an optimistic move, but it gets the job done. And he is up into back into P4. But while these guys are fighting, the front three are just going to continue to run away with this one. Axt, though, who is on a 15-lap set of tires, he's going to continue on. Uncle Morty does set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. That's going to be at least an extra point for Alpine if he can finish within that top 15. And he is so far holding on very nicely. Kaus has broken that DRS slipstream to Axe, just a little bit behind. Dwight now going to be the next one to try to overtake Connor. Connor's really just basically the cork in a bottle, holding up this entire pack. And they're going to go ahead and just kind of fight it out through the castle section. But, yeah, so far, let's actually see how many stops everybody's made. I know this isn't too much, but Connor's the only one who has not made a pit stop here, Phoenix. When do you think he's going to take that stop for the mediums?
I'm not sure. Well, it being over halfway through, he could be trying for a one-stop. He could be doing a one-stop instead of a two-stop strategy that we will see. And there is a Risen was in the wall at corner 15, I believe. And still trying to get around. And looks like he has straightened himself and is missing the front right end plate. That was little. I think it could have been spin from the Risen there, but comes out of it relatively undamaged except for that end plate.
I will say, it is incredibly amusing to see the absolute fandom that Kung Bus has here in this Grand Prix. So we'll give it a little bit of a Kung Bus cam as Pawn gets ahead of Romy 1 Kenobi. As we take a look here, per request as the gap to leader. So everybody within a minute of the race leader at the moment. Kung Bus himself, the fan favorite in chat, is currently in P12. Got about 25 seconds back to the race leader. And he is going to go ahead and just try to close in that gap. Getting ready to come through Castle section. Just a bit further up the road, though, it is going to be Dilby going to go ahead and try to close in to Connor. Connor, the only driver in this race to have not pit. I mean, that is a very optimistic strategy there for the Mercedes man. I guess just Riley trying to pick up a lot of, or any points really, because his teammate's out. His teammate binned it a bit earlier on. That was a crash that you saw that I didn't see, but Oh, and actually, Connor's missing an end plates. Sorokin, though, who is on a drive based out of pure vengeance. And oh, look at that bit of bump drafting we are seeing here. So Dilby just totally gets bottlenecked by Connor there. Bottlenecked by the Mercedes, and Mercedes and Red Bull going side by side like it's 2021 all over again. With Sorokin right there in the mix, trying to go ahead and try to find his way through the field. He got pinched into the wall a bit earlier on, and yeah, actually that was kind of a IndyCar moment. Cars going three wide on a straight circuit, and then trying to kind of bottle it all into P1 or into turn one. I know actually the streets of Long Beach, the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach actually happened not too long ago, and that track is actually oddly similar to Baku, except we don't have a giant dolphin fountain, just kind of in the middle of it. But we're going to take a look at tires just to kind of see where everybody's at the moment on the tires. Connor is the only one who is still yet to pit in this Grand Prix. And kind of, I mean, at some point you're going to run into this thing of diminishing returns here, Phoenix.
If you just said something, you just cut out on my end.
I was just saying, with Connor being the only one who has not pit in yet, the strategy just really seems like he is just kind of lost a battle of diminishing returns.
Yeah, with everyone spreading out quite nicely, I guess after that second safety car, with some of the cars grouped together with very close cars and Milano overtaking Chungbus coming down into that main straight, with a few of the cars trading positions back and forth, or as you like to call it, trading positions like Pokemon cards. But they're very content for now being the main word, because everything can change. And it looks like Connor has pitted now onto a set of medium tyres. So he's called it to pit on lap 18 out of 26 here.
I mean, he can really make some serious inroads if he can go ahead and get those tires just kind of fired up and on this pretty much right on the ball. Uh, I'm sorry, I looked at chat for a moment and then I just see the absolute fanfare for Kong Bus. I mean, I feel like Kong Bus is going to be the Div5 equivalent of Gotifi. I think that's kind of where he is at the moment. But I mean, he's still in the race. That's something. I mean, especially on this track, that's practically an achievement of it in and of itself. I know the last time. Well, I've actually never leagued raced here at Rush. I know that was for a while. That was actually a really common trend of trying to get me the league race. Symphonic actually. I'm gonna go ahead and put some spotlight on VCarb for a moment. Symphonic actually tried to get me to race a couple of months ago for. It was Div5 Vegas. He tried to get me to race for. So we almost saw a Wreckus on track, which would have resulted in a Wreckus probably in the wall somewhere. A wreck for Wreckus, if you will.
And to further pin it on Symphonic, I've already been asked to race almost twice in Div 4 and Div 5, and I've had to decline, saying I don't have the roles yet. That was my excuse to not race, was I don't have the division roles.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun stuff. Who knows? Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
As TMT Legend does have quite a gap onto Kaus, he's now running away with it if everyone can keep within the white lines and out of the walls, which at Baku can be a pretty big ask for everyone to keep it out of the walls.
The gap has been kind of ebbing and flowing between TMT Legend and Kaus. Kaus catches him on some points, but there's other points where TMT just kind of pulls away here. So it's been a constant push and pull when it comes to
Oh, no.
the gap between them. As let's see here, the Risen, just to put some spotlight back on the Visa Cash Racing Bulls Formula One team, is trying to catch up to Kong Bus there, the fan favorite here on the night. As he is going to go ahead and continue to race on here. Well, roll me one Kenobi, going to use those Jedi mind tricks, try to use the Force to pull Bobby back in and try to keep him within that DRS range. As now we're going to continue on racing here. And Paul Nell is now going to go ahead and try to make his way to the line ahead of Axt. He will have the DRS, so that should be pretty easy. Wolfa in the pits, though, with about 7 to go. So, Paul, who's currently on those 12-lap-old hard tires, does get the pass done. Makes it look easy. And he is up into that position. Connor is going to go ahead and get promoted to P9
Yeah.
as he continues racing on through here. So far, the top 7 all on the hards, but nope, that statistic just got yeeted out the window. Axed up into P7, overtaking Paul and Hell.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we have had a request for tyres and an onboard request for. Oh, I blinked for 5 seconds and is virtual safety car. Yes, it is. I blinked for 5 seconds and we have a virtual safety car. What I was going to say is we've got an onboard request, and can you have a wild guess at who it's for? Oh, and Wolfert gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
I think it's actually one for TMT Legend here, our current race leader. I'm kidding. No, it's it was. I mean, yeah. I mean, you take a wild guess. Saying that it's for anyone but
Krogat.
Kung Bus is like saying it's opening up Pokemon pack expecting a Bakugan to be in there. There will be an
Yeah.
onboard with Kung Bus. It will be well. We can't. It'd be kind of cheating to kind of do it under a safety car, but we will do a actual onboard. Probably we'll say. Well, I don't know when this VSC is gonna end, but we'll say first time he comes across the line and Milano gets a drive through for speeding under the VSC. Where is Milano on circuit? Okay, Milano is over sector 2, so next lap with Milano, or not Milano, with Kung Bus, we will jump on board with him as he begins his 21st lap. But right now, Kaus he's got a mountain to climb if he wants to catch up. Sorokin, though, he has been on a recovery drive with a vengeance. Just burning it down here, trying to catch up to Dwight, and now, ooh, he goes a bit deep there, just clatters the wall ever so slightly, but now, back by popular demand, the Kung Bus cam is back. So here he goes. Kung Bus is now making his way down to the line. He's not really burning any ERS at the moment. It's staying kind of right at that 50% mark as he goes ahead and just continues to race it on through, coming through Sector 1. And he is going to go ahead and just continue racing on here as we go through. He's got a bit of a gap to Roman 1 Kenobi, but he is still marginally ahead of Milano. And Milano does have that penalty for speeding under the VSC. Some drivers have finally caught up a bit up front. I think that VSC did kind of help to kind of neutralize everything. As we see Kung Bus kind of rounding up Sector 1 here. Now the castle section is going to be a tricky one here. I mean, he doesn't have anyone to really go side by side with. And yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of, well, at least us here in the booth are asking the same thing, as there's about 5 to go here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But I don't know about you, Phoenix, but just there's been a lot of Kung Bus glaze in the chat. He's definitely become a cold icon here at Rush.
Yeah. As we do have Woofer on a set of softs as well, which is an interesting choice, but there's also, oh, he had a drive-through to serve. I'm not sure you can change tyres in a drive-through, but he's now on a set of softs anyway.
Yeah, no, you can't. Your purpose just got to drive straight through the pits. As that is the onboard lap done with Kung Bus, we're going to go ahead and return our attention to our top contenders here in the race. Dwight did lose that position to Sorokin, and now he's going to be under. Actually, Div5 is going to be under some pressure from Noah. I mean, the battle for the constructors is still pretty much on
And
here in Div5. As you're saying?
And we also have an onboard request for Noah as well, which we can do after he finishes this lap then.
Alright, then I'll pass this one over to you when we get to that point. But yeah, this one's going to be a fun one because, I mean, there is some pretty. It's damage limitation for Alpine at the moment. Uncle Morty having a pretty rough race here. Down P13 with the penalty. Noah's kind of been that saving grace, and they're still fighting with Williams for that constructor's lead here and actually I think they're pretty close in the overalls as well. So, I mean, any kind of damage limitation you can do against the two Williams that are currently sitting in a very comfortable double podium is going to be nice. But now we are riding on board with Noah. Over to you, Phoenix, for the lap.
Heading nicely into turn 1. Not burning any of that battery. Probably trying to save it. Getting very close to Div5 in the Red Bull. Now, got DRS. Won't be enough to catch up, I don't think, on this straight. Heading into corner 3, keeps it nicely off the walls. It's very close. Through corner 4. And coming now into the chicane, nicely off the walls. Getting ready to go now, heading into the castle section. Keep saving his ERS, and very nicely through the castle. Very nicely will keep burning now. Now burning that ERS, well, a little bit to help get more traction out of the corner through some very nice slopey corners. Now I think it's through corner 15, very close to the Red Bull of Div5. Now through the final corner, really before the long flowy few corners and straights, burning some of that ERS maybe to catch up, to get within that DRS range. Will he get DRS? Yes, he will. So he also has very little battery. We don't see a move from Div5, but Noah does overtake the white right before the line.
From one onboard lap to another, because we have one for Axe as well. This will be the last onboard lap that we do here for the race. And we can see Dwight just up the road from Axe getting really, really squirrely on corner exit of turn 2. And now this is going to be a drag race down to the line. Who's going to go ahead and get the apex? It is going to be Axe getting that move done and dusted. And that is a McLaren picked off there by the Red Bull. And now he's got his teammate just up ahead. His teammate does have damaged wing though, so this could be a pretty easy one for Axe, but it's so hard to get an overtake in any part of Sector 2, really, because it's very narrow. Then you have Castle section, and then you have that kind of that weird, almost, it looks like a really condensed version of Laguna Seca. That's pretty much the entirety of Sector 2. But he is really going to just start closing in this gap here. And that is going to be Axe trying to close it in, trying to chop down the gap to his teammate and maybe get a position. Woofa's been disqualified, and that's a send on his teammate from Axe. He has sent it on to his teammate. They are running side by side. And Woofa is out of the session. He is being disqualified for ignoring a drive-through. But I feel like Axe might have just about shot himself in the foot. Because I don't know. Well, actually, we'll see if he's, I think he might, okay, he just got DRS. He just hit it before the detection line. But his teammates just going to roar on past. I'm sure there'll be some pretty interesting talks in the Red Bull camp. But Phoenix, I'll let you take away this penultimate lap, and I'll take the final lap. Over to you.
Yeah, as Kals has, I don't think, quite caught up to TMT Legend. It could be slightly, but TMT Legend still very comfortably sitting in the P1 position, heading through castle section very nicely. Kals trying his best to catch up, but is dropping so slightly. Catches up a bit there. TMT Legend now burning a little bit of that battery to gain more traction on the exit. Coming into corner 15 nicely. Coming down into corner 16, I believe. Very nicely, getting ready to now to head down that long main straight. Same with Kaus, and then Sorokin is all 17 seconds behind them, and yet still in P3 with quite a comfortable gap through the Alpine of Noah Huni. With none of the cars really doing much, overtaking each other here for this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On to the final lap now of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. TMT leads what is likely going to be his first win of the season since Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is going to be a fun drive here. I mean, all he's got to do is just, like you said, keep it within the white lines. Just keep it out of the walls. And then he should have this one pretty much done, dusted, and delivered. So this will be his first win here since Viva Las Vegas. If TMT can go ahead and get this one across the line, the gap is pretty much stabilized between himself and Kaus as they make their way into the castle section. And then we'll see here. I mean, this race could come undone if he Charles Leclerc's in the last lap, but he does not do that. He has, I mean, he's done this 25 times previously, so the 26th time is definitely going to be the most crucial. Going to go ahead and make his way down through Sector 2. A very good run here. There is the Risen just up ahead. I mean, traffic could be a bit of a factor here, but it will not be. The Risen, wrong V-carb there, does pull over to the side, just lets both of the race leaders on through. So very nicely done there. Kaus still trying to catch up, but I think it's just a bit too little too late. And he's coming through the last final corners now, and then it is just a race to line. He can see the checker flag waving off in the distance. Kaus is going to do everything that he can to try to close it up, but the victory is going to go green. TMT Legend wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Kaus coming home in P2. It is a double Williams podium, which is going to do massively for them, for both the overalls and the constructors. Noah doing a really good job to really kind of do some damage limitation, but he's got Axe kind of chasing him down to the line here. It's going to be too little too late for him though, but Noah will go ahead and get a good recovery drive up into P4 for him. Axe P5, P6 for Dilby, so good points for Red Bull. Paulin gets Connor over the line. Or no, Paulin gets Connor over the line, so a very chaotic race, but a very good race overall here, Phoenix.
Yes, and Div5 broke the streak. No one did a Charles Leclerc.
We have not. Indeed, yeah, we broke the Leclerc curse. Conquest now making his way across the line. He'll come home in P12. He'll bring home some pretty decent points as the sole Haas driver on the road. As Milano is going to drop some positions due to pens. But yeah, that is the race done, dusted, and delivered. So we'll talk to our top three. We'll talk to TMT Legend and the two Williams. And whoever gets the driver of the day, which based on, well, I was going to look at positions, but we ran out of time there. But we'll see. And we'll talk with the driver of the day as well. Just don't know who that is just yet. But the celebrations are going to go live here in Azerbaijan. The Land of Fire brought us a very fiery race here. It ultimately was just a race of attrition, honestly. Just Stay alive, stay out of the walls, and just kind of keep your car facing in the right direction. Was pretty much the name of the game here, Phoenix.
Mm. Yeah, and the driver of the day is the Red Bull that belongs to Axe.
All right, so here are your superlatives here. Race winner is TMT Legend, and it is axed with the fastest lap, cleanest driver today, and driver of the day, with Milano getting the most overtakes. So we're going to go ahead and talk to him as well. But here are your results here. After 26 laps, it is TMT Legend ahead of Kaus and Sorokin, rounding out your top three. Then is Noah, Axed, Dilby, Dwight, Paul Hell, Connor, Romeo and Kenobi, Uncle Morty, Kung Bus, Milano, Bobby, The Risen, and then we've had the retirements of Crowjag and RJ Gibson, who pretty much smacked it straight to a wall, and then Woofa, who was disqualified for ignoring the blue flags. Now we're going to go ahead and get straight into interviews. We'll see who we have here. I know we have one of the Williams, but we are going to also talk to Axed, Sorokin, and TMT Legend if those of you are available to jump into the comms box. But in the meantime, while we wait, Phoenix, what were your thoughts on this Grand Prix?
A very interesting first few laps. As soon as you said, we'll have a nice green flags, start to finish, two safety cars later, and a virtual safety car later on in the race, wasn't very clean after all. It's a very interesting race with a lot of positions being swapped around corners and then being traded instantly back.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew that was a bit of a long shot, but I didn't realize how much of a long shot it was to have a perfectly clean lights to checkered flag race. I mean, we always got Div 3 tomorrow where we could potentially go for that, but in the meantime, we that will have to wait until tomorrow. We do have two of our drivers here. We have our driver of the day, so we'll start with him. So, driver of the day, Axed. You had a very fun race here tonight. It was a very tricky one here, Axed. I mean, you had two safety cars and a VSC. How would you rate your performance tonight?
Low key, I could have performed better in those last few laps if I did not mess up with the overtakes when rejoining. But yeah, I think it wasn't bad.
And now we actually did see in the kind of the closing stages of the race, you did have a bit of a battle with your teammates on the night. So what was it like just kind of scrapping it wheel to wheel with your teammate there towards the end?
I mean, it was pretty fun, but I believe I did clip him in one of the corners, and I feel pretty bad for that. But I guess it is what it is.
All right, so one more question before I go ahead and let you go here. Is there anybody you would like to give a special shout out to here tonight, Axed?
Um, yeah, I reckon maybe the Alpine that was in front of me. I didn't get his username, but he did stand his ground. I reckon in those last few laps, that was good for him.
I believe that was Noah that was just up the road from you. But once again, congratulations on driver of the day. And I'll pass you over to Phoenix if they have any questions or comments.
Yeah.
I don't have any, but well done on the race tonight. And are you looking forward to Canada that is next week?
Um, I don't reckon it's not my strongest track, but I'll still do my best for my team.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to the podium now. We are going to jump on board with Sorokin's interview. That will be done by the Williams team principal of Dido. So, Dido, double podium for your boys. I know you're over the moon with that, especially you took a pretty hefty chunk out of Alpine's lead in the constructors here for Div 5. How did you feel that your drivers did here tonight?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, very happy. Obviously, we needed the points. Tough week so far for the team, but yeah, man, they did really well. Obviously, it was a bit of a dramatic race, like always, Baku, but Yeah, I think they did really well. Kaus was a bit unlucky; he clipped his wing, so he did the best. He just TMT was too fast in the end there, and obviously the traffic held him up. But Sorokin obviously had to bail back through the field as well, and maybe a report or two there, but yeah, he got a pretty good gap at the end there, so did really well. He wasn't obviously aware about the Delta thing. I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously, the guys were already saying they were going to report that. So I did try and tell him to build a gap and see what he can do. He did really well, and yeah, these guys are just impressing me more and more every week. I try and put a lot of effort in, and yeah, Div 5 was always our obviously struggle street really in Williams, and yeah, it's the complete opposite now. These guys have taken it on the horns, and yeah, just taken over. They're getting closer and closer to Alpine, so couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Williams, like, I mean, watching both Kels and Sorokin in the last couple of weeks has been, it's been, it's just been a joy to watch. I mean, they've been just so strong in these last couple of rounds. I mean, you guys are just taking chunks of points, especially with Uncle Morty not having the greatest of races. Although Noah did have a pretty good recovery drive himself. What's the energy in the Williams garage heading into Canada next week?
Yeah, really good, man. I know. Gausa, I already know is doing some laps there, already getting practice in. But yeah, obviously Canada is a bit different to Baku. The rain can definitely play some cards there. So yeah, we'll be doing some practice for that and looking forward to it. The boys are really keen. Obviously, it's a tight battle in all the championships across all the divisions. So everyone's digging deep and yeah, giving it all. But the energy in Div 5 is obviously massive. When Cass has joined the team, it's obviously lifted Sorokin as well, and yeah, they're doing really well, mate.
All right, well, I'll pass you over to Phoenix if they have any other questions or comments. But congratulations on the double podium, Zito, and we'll see your boys next week in Canada.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the comms.
Yeah, I don't have any questions
Thanks
or
for having me.
comments, but well done from both of your drivers tonight. Tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to actually talk to one of their drivers now. We're going to talk to Kaus. You've heard him in the commentary booth before, but now he's back in the comms booth again, this time as part of a interview. Now, Kaus, your teammate had a heck of a drive through the field, but overall, how would you rate your drive here tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Ruckus. I hope you're not missing me too much in the Div 1 comms box now that I've decided to help out the boys and Williams. But yeah, look, this race for me, yeah, I mean, look, objectively, like P2 again, is still a good result. Yeah, I feel if I had like more experience, maybe if I prepped a little bit better, maybe I could have had a go at TMT, but yeah, just some mistakes on my end. I think clipping my front wing like on the back of TMT after a restart, and then making a few mistakes trying to chase him down. Just a lot of little mistakes that I was making that race. But not taking away anything from TMT. He drove phenomenally well. Didn't put a foot wrong. Didn't give me a chance to even like have a go at him. So props to him. He drove really well. But yeah, I think I'm not gonna lie again. I'm a little bit gutted that I couldn't close that gap and have a fight with him later on the race.
Yeah, I mean it's really fun seeing how you guys at Williams really just kind of take the ball and run with it. But TMT definitely was extremely on the pace tonight. I know you've already done a lot of practice. We heard from your team principal just a few moments ago about the preparations you're doing for Canada. How would you say those preparations are going?
They're going alright. Just trying to figure out what setups to run and all that sort of stuff. Just normal pre-race practice and all that sort of stuff, and getting to grips with the track. I think I raced at Canada, I want to say, a few seasons ago when I had my short stint in Rush, so I have a bit of experience there, so hopefully I can do one better next week.
All right, well, once again, congratulations on your podium, and I'll pass you over to Phoenix if they have any other questions or comments.
Love your work, Rekus. Appreciate it.
I don't have any questions or comments, but a very nicely driven race from you tonight.
Thanks, Phoenix. I appreciate it, and well done tonight to you two. You guys did fantastic comms, so appreciate it. Thanks for that.
All right, now we got one more interview left to go. The legend himself, and before chat asking, I think, no, it's not Kong Bus. It is TMT Legend getting its first win since Las Vegas. So, TMT, finally back on that top step of the podium here tonight. How does it feel to finally get another win under your belt?
Um, honestly, that's not even what I'm the most excited about. It's the fact that I actually finally got a pole position.
There you go.
It's taken what? This is my 8th season in Rush, and I finally got my first ever Rush podium, and it was by the smallest margin. So I think that's the thing I was most excited about. So I'm going to give partial credit to Kaus for that one because I let him by with a couple of corners to go over our outlap as he was doing his preparations, and I just used him as a toe flow lap. So cheers for pole. But no, it feels great to be back on the top step.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very chaotic race. I mean, two safety cars and a VSC to boot. Do you think it'll be similar-ish in Canada next week, or do you think we've pretty much seen most of the chaos for the rest of the season?
Um, Look, Baku has always been one of the Stewart's favorite races of the Rush calendar. I can tell you from experience as a team principal that I don't think any steward is ever excited for Baku. So I think that could give you a pretty good guess as to where that's going. But I mean, Canada being a similar sort of style street track to Jeddah, we'll probably get about as much carnage as what we did at Jeddah. There's a little bit more runoff at Canada, but not heaps more. But I'd say the only true wild card of anything could happen race remaining would definitely be Monaco in the second last race. I would be. I mean, look, I've got the winnings from Vegas to say that I could probably put a few dollars on the fact that Monaco will give Baku a run for its money. So I think Monaco will be one to watch if you're looking for carnage. But look, I'm hoping that next week there's a bit of carnage and some guys that don't typically finish up towards the front can make some moves with me not there. I need them to take as many points off the top guys as possible. So, not see what happens.
Oh, so are you actually not racing in Canada?
No, I am not racing in Canada. I'm going to be spending the next 2 weeks preparing for the endurance race where there's more points available, though. So bring on Spa as much as I don't like it.
All right, well, congratulations on your win and the pole position, and I will pass you over to Phoenix.
Well, I won't ask you if you're looking forward to Canada as you're now not racing
Normally
it,
it would
but
be.
a very well driven race from you here tonight.
Thank you.
Alrighty, everybody, that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here at Rush Racing League. Another round of Baku in the books. I'm sure the stewards will definitely be glad to see this one in the rear view because it has been a very chaotic week. But if you love the chaos that the streets of Azerbaijan have been bringing us, then tomorrow it is Div3. It'll be SJ and Daniel in the booth bringing you all the coverage from that race. But Phoenix, before we go ahead and wrap things up, any final thoughts on the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in Div 5?
It was very mundane, kind of, compared to what we saw at Div 1. Div 2, Div 4 had a bit of chaos. I mean, we did have two safety cars and a virtual safety car, but there wasn't carnage as such. I mean, I think it was Div 2 we saw a massive pile up. In here, we only really had safety cars when one car absolutely binned it into a wall. So we had very different carnage than what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, we had two crashes in qualifying and two in the race. So, yeah, and it was all isolated incidents as well. So, overall pretty calm compared to some of the other races we've had this week. But that's going to go ahead and wrap things up here officially. I want to give a special thank you to Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagnan Advanced Simulation. Thank you to all the sponsors who put good faith in us. Thanks to all the drivers who showed up tonight, even if your race only lasted about 2 laps. And also, a massive thank you to the chat, or what I should name the Kung Bus fan group, as you guys have been awesome to see here tonight in chat. But on behalf of Phoenix, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. Tune in tomorrow for Div3 at Baku, and then next week it'll be the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Stay hydrated, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time on the streets of Baku. Good night.